Welcome back to the channel, everyone, and today we are sat in the all-new BMW 230i, the all-new 2 Series, and with this car, I feel like BMW has finally hit the nail on the head, and although you might unsuspectingly pass this vehicle, you shouldn't. And on this video, we're going to explain why you have to have a look at one of these things, because for the price, what you're getting, there just really is not much that competes with this. Because with all the electrification, the SUV-ification of so many manufacturers, there really has just been a lack of fun rear-wheel drive coupe sports cars, and that are attainable as well in terms of price. So this one ticks a huge amount of boxes, and we're going to tell you why you should probably consider this thing, because I've had this for the week, and yeah, I don't want to give this back. So let's just cover the basics. So we've got a 2-door rear-wheel drive sports coupe, and it does have a very nice proportion shape to it. You know, long bonnet up front. You know, it's nice and short in the back. It actually really does mimic older BMWs that we've all loved growing up. And under the bonnet, you are going to have a 2-liter twin-scroll turbo 4-cylinder. It is the B48, and it is going to be making 190 kilowatts and 400 Newton meters. So that is 255 horsepower in the American change. And you look, don't turn the video off, because this thing is running the ZF8. Unfortunately, no manual. I would have loved to have seen that. But everybody in Australia should know how damn good a ZF box is. And the 8 is fantastic. And I'm going to tell you, honestly, that this thing for 190 kilowatts feels much healthier than that. And I do think that comes down to the gearbox, because this thing just puts you in that power band all the time. You're in the perfect rev range, and with 400 Newton meters of torque on offer, mate, this little 4-banger, it goes. It absolutely moves. And mate, with the right bolt-ons, a little tune, whew, this thing could be pushing 300 plus wheel horsepower easy, and that would be very healthy. Wow, it just keeps pulling, man, and this thing is off. The paddles are quick, they are responsive here. Oh, and it... This is the beauty of this 2 Series, right, guys? It has that old school sports coupe feel to it. You know, the chassis is very communicative, and although the steering, it is a little bit, you don't really feel the road through the steering, which is unfortunate. You know, it's a little overly assisted. It does have some weight to it, and you know what the wheels are doing, but you just can't feel the road through the steering wheel. You can feel it, though, through the seat, and I think that is really what, you know, sets this car apart. Just the chassis and the handling, it is so playful, and it inspires a huge amount of confidence. It just... Yeah. And that was with sport traction on. This thing, that's the funness of this car, is you have confidence to really kick this thing out too. Wow. It's it's fun, man. You know, you've got all the BMW niceties in here. You know, previously the 2 Series was like real base spec, just kind of cheap and nasty. This is like, this is very premium. It actually is very, very nice in here. You got all the adaptive mood lighting, you know, heated wheel, heated seats here. Seats are very conforming too. You know, they have a bit of bolster, which is nice, and they hug you quite well. The gearbox, again, is very responsive. Love a ZF. And this thing is quick. It is quick. Wow. Now let's just touch on price now, because obviously it's a BMW, it's a new car. These are going to be coming in at around 73 grand before on road. So realistically, you're going to be paying close to 80K by the time you've paid your taxes and got a few options. It's not cheap, but it is affordable. Let's not forget, you know, by the time you go and get a Toyota Hilux, you're probably going to be paying around the same. You definitely can afford one of these. But the crucial thing is, when you start trying to find a rear-wheel drive sports coupe for, you know, with offering similar luxuries here, similar feel, fit, and finish, there just really isn't any other competitors, because the closest thing for price-wise would be something like the S3 from Audi, which is coming in at just about the same price, but that's all-wheel drive, and it is a sedan or a hatch. And I was even trying to go so far as something like maybe the Mercedes C300 would be able to compete with this, because that is a coupe, it comes rear-wheel drive, and it has a 2-liter 4-cylinder, but even that car now is coming in at about 100 grand before on road. So really, this is the coupe. This is the rear-wheel drive, nice luxury coupe that is reasonably affordable here. You know, really the only other options you're going to have is something like the Subaru BRZ 86 or the MX-5, which those are going to be coming in around that, you know, 40, 45 grand mark. But those are significantly less practical. You know, the MX-5 doesn't have back seats. You know, the 86 in that, they are very cramped. And this does have a massive step up in terms of feel, build quality. Yeah, this is a much nicer car.
Now, I did almost just forget about the all-new Nissan Z. That is coming in at about 73 grand before on roads as well here. And that, though, is just a coupe. And it is a Nissan, so you're kind of doing the trade-off of get a little bit more power versus a little bit less practicality.
And let's not forget, this being around that 73 grand mark before on roads, if you are going to go to the 240i, that's a significant jump. We are talking like close to $100,000 before on roads to get into a 240i xDrive. And again, that is going to be the straight six. It's all-wheel drive though. And again, I just feel like on these back roads, I like rear-wheel drive. Like honestly, if you are one of those types of people who really want, you know, that blistering straight line speed, you know, probably most definitely more tuning potential, maybe splurge to the 240i then, because that is definitely going to have a lot more power than this. But I just feel like for that true kind of more old school car enthusiast, I guess, in terms of just hitting a nice B road, this with the chassis rear-wheel drive configuration, it just feels better. And yeah, it's got no issues keeping that momentum, this thing. You know, 190 kilowatts, it sounds weak, but I'll assure you guys, if you take one for a test drive, they do go very well. And look, I know this doesn't have adaptive suspension, and you know, a lot of people probably would have loved that, but they tuned it so well. You know, especially for what this car is. You know, it's a sports coupe, and you get this thing on a nice B road, it just, you've got huge confidence to just really send it. You know, I would say it's firm, obviously. You know, when you're in town on rough surface roads, you will feel it, but again, when you get it out to a nice B road and you hit the corners, you can just feel they really dialed it in for that application, and it's worth it. It is absolutely worth it. They did a great job on the suspension here. Now, 0 to 100, we are pulling up on this back road, and this car is claimed, I believe, at about 5.8, 0 to 100 kilometers per hour. So we're going to stop here, reset the draggy, hard on the brake, hard on the accelerator into launch control. Go. Let's go. Woo! It snaps. Man, it is snappy. I gotta say, you know, look, from a dig like that, I can't call this car fast, but it is most definitely quick. And, you know, off the lights, in the city, this thing is very nimble. It just zips around. Man, it's enough. And again, just the right mods, a little tune on this engine, mate, 300 wheel horsepower would be so healthy in this. Let's have a look at the time. And BMW coming in clutch, guys, just like that. 5.4 seconds, 0 to 100. And on a back road, just the first attempt, literally. That is impressive. Like, I gotta say, you know, considering it's just a little 4-cylinder, it's a 2-liter here. And this thing is kind of heavy. You know, for a sports coupe, it's still 1,600 plus kilos. So, yeah, it's not the lightest vehicle, but that's an impressive time. That's respectable. It's just a shame the steering feel doesn't come through like the suspension and chassis. That is the one crucial complaint I'm gonna have with this, is the steering is a little bit disconnected. It's still sharp, you know where you're going, but it just doesn't have that feel through the wheel. And also, I just wish they had have offered this with a little bit more bark in terms of noise, because there is a fake noise that will come through, and I wouldn't say it particularly sounds bad, but you think of something like the CLA 45, you kind of would love this to just have a little bit more bark to it when it is, say, in its Sport Plus mode. You know, and obviously you could do that with a downpipe and exhaust upgrade, but it just would have been nice if it came factory like that. But I do think they probably didn't want to make this too exciting because they still want you to buy the 240i. But I honestly think this is really worth a look, because this is a fantastic BMW. Like, this is a BMW I would personally own. It just feels really well made. The B48 is an extremely good engine. The ZF is an extremely good gearbox. Rear wheel drive, it's got the big brakes, it's got the good suspension here, the chassis is communicative. BMW luxury on the inside, we can't complain. The seats are great. And it's a good looking car. I think this thing looks hot. I much prefer this grille over the new, you know, M3 style kind of pig grille. Like, to me, this just looks much cleaner, much sleeker. Overall, yeah, this is a good car. I think it's probably one of the best looking cars that's coming out right now in terms of BMW. And in this kind of pastel gray two-tone with the bottom skirts, it's winning me over. I like this a lot. Now I'm going to finish the video off here today, guys. So look, the 230i, this is a great package. I think it's good value for money. It is fun to drive. I think there is tuning potential here for people who want to unlock this thing as well. And it just brings back that old sports coupe feel, which I miss. So this is refreshing for me. And I've absolutely had a blast in this thing. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button. Consider subscribing if you're new here. And we will see you on that next video.